What's up, Brad?
Not too much, Andrew. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. You are remote again.
I am for the next couple of weeks anyway. Then we'll have at least one more episode where I'm there.
Yeah, so this is episode 152, and I'm not even sure why you moved away because you keep coming back.
Well, yeah, there was a reason for it, and then, due to obviously my grandmother passing, I stayed a little longer than planned. So it feels like I'm on vacation here almost, which stinks because this is my home now. So I'm going back in like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. Um,
Whatever.
yeah, we did miss that. Unfortunately, missed that Radwood, which looked pretty cool. But
Yeah, family stuff comes first, unfortunately, but
yeah,
there'll be more redwoods.
on the positive side, while you were hanging around and staying with your family, you did get more done on the clips. And I know we covered the axles and the rear brakes. I think
I
we
think we covered the
briefly
painting.
I thought we briefly talked about you doing like the prep work for the painting, but I don't think you had finished it yet.
I think I had it in color, but I hadn't primed it yet.
You mean clear coated it?
That's what I meant. Yeah, sorry. I had it in color, but I hadn't clear coated it yet.
Yeah.
Because I think I actually stopped to go to your house to record a podcast.
Yes, actually, that's what happened. So, tell me about finishing up with the clear coat because it looks really good. You posted some pictures of it to our Instagram.
Yeah, no, the color came out like almost perfect. The clear coat laid down nice and flat. Because I waited until the next day to do clear coat, I thought it would be wise to wet sand the paint first, just because it wasn't tacky anymore, and I wanted the clear coat to have something to adhere to. So I had actually you saved my butt because I didn't have any. You happened to have some 1,000 grit sandpaper, wet or dry, that I wet sanded the freshly painted panels with. And once I did that, I was able to clear coat over that with a professional grade clear coat, but just out of an aerosol can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it came out really good. I'm quite impressed with how it laid down based on the environment I was painting in. I was just painting in the driveway. I didn't have like a booth or a clean room by any means.
And
And somehow there was,
it was a little humid too.
and it's New England. It's always humid. It's
Yeah.
just a way of life.
No, it looks surprisingly good. Like, I mean, I don't think you want to do the whole car, right? With the spray
I
cans?
wouldn't. It would cost so much money. You might as well do it the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, just doing that section cost me like almost $60 in materials
Right.
because I didn't use a $5 can of Krylon. I used real professional automotive paints,
Correct.
so it cost a little more.
And then the top of the door, because the door. So what happened to this car? I don't think we explained what happened to it, why the dent was there.
I don't know what happened to the car. I do know that the original owner brought the car over here.
Yeah.
He drove it for a long time, and he sold it to his mechanic that had worked on the car since he brought it over here.
Yep.
And then that guy sold it on to some other guy. And that person who owned it then is the person who did the obviously terrible brake job and some other questionable things and made the entire interior of the car smell like marijuana. And at one point, apparently misjudged a rock or a curbstone or something and just destroyed the quarter panel rocker and bottom section of the driver's door.
Yeah, because that was not the original door that was on there.
Correct. It was a Talon door that was on there. Happened to be red, so it works, but it's not perfect. Friend of the show, Nate, wound up buying the car. He'd been aware of it for a while and, wanted to own the car and finally got his hands on it after it was wrecked, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
He swapped on the Talon door with a junkyard door, junkyard Talon door that was red.
Right.
And at some point, that junkyard Talon had a full cheap respray.
Right.
So the cheap respray on the top part of the door looks like a cheap respray. It's all faded and the paint's kind of peeling and it's just kind of gross. And I wasn't going to paint the whole door, but now I think when I come back there in a couple of weeks, I'll probably paint the top section of the door because then the car will be passable for a long time.
Yeah.
So
So this temporary painting is probably going to be permanent painting.
I think eventually I'd like to get the whole car painted because the roof gets a little hailstorm dents in it, the black part of the roof, and the clear coat is peeling off the top of the spoiler and the top of the fenders. So it deserves a full paint job at some point. But at the moment, I think if I paint the top of the door, because my budget doesn't allow for a full paint job right now,
Yeah.
I'll be able to live with it more than I can right now.
Right.
So hopefully by the end of my next trip there, which is in 2 weeks, I'll have the car 100% the way I'm happy with it to bring it to. Because I think it's going to stay in Massachusetts now until October because we have a Radwood Boston event coming in October.
Right.
So I feel the plan is to drive it there and then drive it home from there.
Yeah, and it really doesn't need much more. If you detail the interior and then do that door, it'll look pretty darn good. Actually, fix that front bumper that's kind of bent in. Would you say
Yeah, that's pretty simple. That's pretty simple.
there's a bar underneath the bumper, support bar?
There's a metal plate that goes in the bottom lip of the bumper, and it's bent in the middle.
Because actually, that car, I'm actually really happy the way you did this because it was like you took a decent car and then fixed the things that were wrong with it right away, and now it looks way better.
Yeah, it's probably the right way to fix cars instead of buying like complete loads and just parking them for years.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually really happy the way you did this. So
It's very satisfying actually.
yeah, because the car made a ton of progress in like a week, and our friend Nate there, who we bought it off of, had already done like a bunch of the maintenance stuff to it, the heavy
that
maintenance.
was part of our deal. Yeah, that was part of our deal when we bought the car because I was driving it from Alabama to Boston,
Yeah,
and neither one of us knew when the last time the timing belt was replaced.
yeah,
So he swapped out the timing belt, did an oil change, and did front brakes in the car for me. And I had tires shipped to a tire shop near him, and he brought it there, and they did the 4 tires mounted and balanced and an alignment on the car.
right.
So that at least I knew I would make it home from Alabama.
Yeah,
I knew it still needed axles. I knew it still needed some attention in the rear brakes and possibly suspension, which wound up being all brakes. And obviously, I knew it needed body work, but I just wanted the things that would strand me on the side of the highway fixed.
yeah.
So that was done.
And
So
then
I can't thank him enough for that because
Yeah.
that helped out a lot.
I don't know if you talked about what tires you put on it though.
They're Dunlop Dureza DZ102.
I think so. Yeah,
I think it's a 102.
they're like a big time street class autocross tire. One of the
Yeah.
tires that people run.
And they have a 400 tread wear though,
Yeah,
which is not terrible. That's
No.
even better than the S drives actually.
yeah. Yeah,
So
the car drives really nice with them.
it's really smooth. They're super high quality tire. They don't make any noise at all. I mean, even at the limit, like, I took a couple of once we did all the brakes were changed and did the axles. I took a couple of on ramps at a pretty good clip because the car's fun to drive, and it didn't really protest much at all. The tires are nice and quiet. The car felt pretty composed, and I'm gonna say I'm a big fan of those tires. And I've driven them in 65-degree rain and 100-degree heat, and they've been good through that whole range. So
Yeah, and I like drove it after it wasn't making noise, and I was like, oh, this is way better.
yeah.
And like, it tracked straight down the road. It was nice and quiet, and the AC is like super cold, which is cool.
It's still R12.
Yeah, yeah,
It kind
super
of shows
sweet.
you how well maintained the car has been most of its
Yeah,
life.
it might need a battery when you come back, but other than that,
Yeah, the battery's a little slow to crank, but
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. I have enough batteries in other cars lying around that probably work.
the car's in really good shape though. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's a nice solid piece. The only other thing I really want to do to it is the rear fenders have like a rubberized undercoating in them,
Right.
and it's all peeling out.
Mhm.
So I'm going to knock as much loose stuff off of that as possible and just use the aerosol can of rubberized undercoating.
Yeah, the
the,
3M stuff.
The good stuff that dries, not like the sticky stuff that stays sticky.
Yeah, I use the 3M stuff.
Yeah, it probably is a 3M or SEM, or I think it's an SEM product I have. So, which is again the professional body shop quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once I do all those things, I mean, eventually maybe some PDR on some of the panels, and because a couple of dings here and there. I mean, the car will be pretty much as new as a '93 Eclipse can be.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked on it. It's kind of weird. It's not a turbo car. I always said I wouldn't buy a non-turbo Eclipse, but with a 2-liter, it's a 4G63 car. It doesn't weigh that much. It's not so slow that it's boring. It's a good momentum car. Slow car, fast kind of car.
It's probably the nicest non-turbo I've ever seen, personally.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Because most of them were trashed.
Yeah, and it has that's the other thing. It's like a high-end non-turbo. Because I don't think a lot of the non-turbos here in the U.S. got any body kits or anything.
No, they all had different no body cladding on them.
Yeah, so when you see an Eclipse with no body cladding, it's like it just looks really wimpy.
It's like looking at an 87 Camaro non-Z28. Just looks weird.
Yeah, they don't.
It's missing something.
Like the body, it's like do you even lift? The body is really narrow and weird. The non-turbos just don't look that good.
It's the whole reason I never liked the Eclipse. I'm sorry, the Laser RS.
Exactly, it doesn't have a lot of the cladding.
Right, it was a simpler, cleaner looking car, but it just doesn't have the same 90s aggressiveness that the GST, GSX, and TSI had.
Yeah, and it's they weren't any wider, so to speak, but because the bottom of the doors and the bumpers flared out, it made the whole car look bigger.
It looks lower and wider.
Yeah, and more aggressive. But
for sure.
But it doesn't have all the fenders are the same, all the quarter panels are the same. It doesn't have box flares, but somehow it just looks so much better.
Yeah, it doesn't even have holes drilled in the fenders or the quarter panels for the cladding. They just glue on the top.
Yeah. No, so that's super
same body, but
yeah, that's super cool that car came out so well.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked on it. Once I get it all, because I still haven't put the cladding back on that side, and the black trim I want to restore some of, and so there's a few things I need to do to the car to make it exactly the way I want it. At some point, maybe you'll be able to help me with this at some point. When the car is there, I'd like to grab the 4 wheels off of it and send them out to be refurbished because they're typical 1993 Mitsubishi wheels. So,
yeah, they're made out of recycled Bud cans.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible.
Yeah.
They just look awful, and I'd like to have them cleaned up and looking a lot better. Because they're a neat-looking wheel.
They bend so easily. I don't know what they made this aluminum out of, but it's super soft. It's like the softest aluminum known to man.
Yeah, I remember back when we both had stock Talon wheels, it was always constantly bending them.
Yeah, you'd bend one, then you get a flat the next day. Super annoying.
Yeah, no fun.
All right. On my Montero, I talked about buying some heavy tracks for it, the Konis.
Yep. Trying something new.
Yeah, not a lot of people run them in the U.S. Mostly people run the Bilsteins, the yellow HDs. I think they are yellow. And then the 4600s if you're lifted because they have more travel. Which is what actually Jordan has in the back of the Xterra. He's got 4600s and then some special coilover from the lift company on the front.
Yep.
But I was always jealous of the Pro 4X that he has because it came stock with Bilsteins and the truck rode super nice. It still rides nice, but it was
it's nice enough. It still has a leaf spring rear that makes it a little bouncy.
But it's that body on frame soft ride that is nice in a truck.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Montero just didn't have that. It was really bouncy and stiff, and you'd kind of hit especially over train tracks or something, or even off road with offset boulders or washboard. You kind of bounce back and forth side to side in the car over bumps, and it's super annoying. And really everybody was the KYBs are just super stiff. They're also super cheap. They are the cheapest replacement ones, the shocks that you can get for these trucks.
Yep, that's what I actually have in my truck.
Yeah, and in a light truck like that, they're not ideal, but they are $40 a shock. They're really cheap.
Yeah, they were real cheap. And in the short wheelbase, that thing bounces like crazy anyway. So
yeah.
worth going crazy.
And then the conies are about $90 a piece. And so $50 difference, really,
So
each.
200 for the whole car.
Yeah. So it was like, I was around like $350 for the 4 shocks. They actually, strangely, they actually came from Jegs, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I searched the part number and they came up on eBay and Jegs sold them, but then they drop shipped from the Coney warehouse. So whatever works. Because they're really like just a basic shock. The rears have just the threaded on the top and the bolt hole in the bottom. The same for the fronts. They are adjustable. I did not adjust them. I looked it up. They come set to the softest setting from the factory, so that's the way I installed them. And it is noticeable. The truck rides so much better. Like, it rides, actually, I described it like the way Stephanie's Crosstrek rides, where it's soft and it has travel, but there's still a hint of sportiness to it if you want to take an on-ramp. I mean, I'm not going to take a on-ramp super hard in the Montero, but it's not like wallowing around like the 75 Cadillac is like super soft, like Bodie suspension, but that's the way it's supposed to be. So,
of course.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to feel things in that car.
No. So I'm really happy with these, and I am regretting not going to them sooner because it's like so much better. And so yeah, I definitely highly recommend them. I would say they're probably equivalent to the yellow Bilsteins. If you're lifted, you'll want the extra travel ones, but conies are definitely a way to go if you're looking for something, because I think they might be less than the Bilsteins. I'd have to look it up. But this truck's coming along because really the only other thing I'd want to do to it this year is put like sliders on it. It's got all the Under Armour from Adventure Driven Design. It's got new shocks in it. Doesn't really need a lift. They're very capable stock height. I might lift it next year, but for now, just some sliders on it, and I really need to get it out on some trails.
Yeah, you certainly do.
The other thing I did was I bought them by mistake for the 89, and then I ended up getting the correct bushings for the 89. So when I bought the 89 Montero, it had a wicked bad rattle in it, and the guy thought it was like a transfer case mount or something. And it turns out it was the trailing arm bushings on these Monteros.
The guy also thought I had four-wheel drive.
This is true too. The trailing arm bushings on these Monteros with the coil springs in the rear mount to the middle of the frame on the truck with these two like rubber donuts on each side. Basically the best way to describe them. And I remember working at the dealership and having people come in looking for them, especially around here because the washers that held them in would like rot away. And they basically those two trailing arms locate the rear axle. So if you hit a bump and those bushings are missing, it's smashing against the frame inside that little hole that it mounts through. And the rear axle is going to like move around. It's going to be super weird. So I had bought these polyurethane bushings from Whiteline because I really like Whiteline stuff. I've used it in my STI. I used it in... I really like them for the Galant and the Talon because they were one of the only companies that made rear sway bars for the car. Actually, like the only company that made a rear sway bar for the car. So I've used them for a lot of stuff. And actually, I have one... their front sway bar is in the WRX right now. But anyway, they're not super stiff polyurethane. They definitely have some play to them because they're not like race polyurethane, but they're definitely better than regular rubber. And they used to come years ago. They came yellow, and they had like optional black ones for certain things. And now it's kind of a bummer. All Whiteline bushings come black, and you're like, oh man, I don't have the racy ones of having them yellow anymore. But it turns out like I was telling you to get these caster bushings for the
Eclipse?
The Eclipse, and the ones that are in the Galant are the yellow, and just from age, they're kind of like dirty brown now from being driven around, and then the ones that went in the Talon are black. So it doesn't really matter anyways, but... So I put them in the...
It just stinks for your fresh install Instagram pictures.
Yeah, exactly. So they worked great in the 89. They cleared up the noise. They really tightened up the rear of the truck. And I had bought, thinking I was getting the right ones for the 89, I bought ones for a later second gen. And I was like, whatever, I'll hold on to them because I think at some point I'll end up with a second gen. And turns out I did. So I had them hanging around. And I was like, well, I really want to put them in because they weren't worn out on the current truck. They were just a little dry rotted. But while I had it up in the air, it's pretty easy to do. I did a little video on it. There's two bolts in the rear that locate the axle, two giant bolts, and then the nut in the front. And you basically unbolt all the ABS line and the parking brake cable that runs down these trailing arms. They're just a couple small bolts. And the truck's not rusty at all, so all the stuff came apart really easy. Pulled them out. It's like 10 or 15 minutes to do a side. You do one. It's actually pretty easy to do it with the truck on the ground because the axle doesn't move around. And of course, you leave one attached, so it helps locate it. But the only problem I had after I installed them all, I got the rearmost giant axle bolts. I put it in, and the service manual was like, torque is 181. I'm like, that's pretty high, but whatever. I went to torque it, and it like got tight and then went buttery. You know that feeling when a bolt like starts to break?
Or breaks, yeah.
But it's like an inch thick bolt. Like it's a big bolt. I was like, oh man, I don't know how I did that. But it was tight and the lock washer was compressed. I was like, well, it's going to stay in there for now because there's another one that's holding it. So I ended up torquing the other ones to 150 foot-pounds instead. Because I checked the other side when I had the torque wrench set to 150, and the other side was definitely not that tight.
I wonder if it was maybe just the way the new bushing squished when it went soft.
No, this is not the bolt that went into the new bushing.
Oh, okay.
This was the bolt that went through the rear near the rear axle. It's where the trailing arm bolts to the rear axle. There's two bushings, which those bushings were in good shape. You can get polyurethane ones for those, but they weren't dry rot or anything, so I left them alone.
Gotcha.
The front bolt where the new bushings go in is only like 101 foot-pounds, so it's not that big a deal. They definitely had to squish down a little bit to get them lined back up, but I got it in there and it was fine. And at the same time, I did the rear shocks, and then I did the fronts. The truck drives great. So I had to buy a $25 bolt, and that'll be in a couple days, but it should be super easy to swap out. But for now, it's in there, and it's fine. So I just don't want to leave it for a long time and forget about it. So that's a cool little...
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's a cool little update for that truck. I haven't done anything to it in a while.
They haven't even been driving it that much because you don't drive it in wintertime.
No, I don't.
And it's summertime, so you've been driving other cars.
I've been switching between that and the WRX. I haven't driven the other cars. That's the other thing I need to do. We talked about this briefly. I need to do a throttle body on the Galant, and that's really why I haven't driven it much. It's not super expensive to get one, but I need to just order it. And then it's been super, super hot, and the Talon does not have AC. And number one, the turbo in it is not going to work very well when it's 98 degrees and 70% humidity. And then
right,
not having AC in it, like why am I going to drive around it and just sweating it? And it's not even going to be fun to drive. So just sit on it for now. And it's fine. Like I'll probably take it to Cars and Coffee because it'll be early on a Sunday morning, but I'm not going to drive it around during the day because it's just not fun to sit in traffic and bake. That's the problem with those. Yeah, that's the problem with those two-tone cars, the black roof. It's like, oof. And then
plus you don't have like tinted windows or anything either. So
no, and a first gen Eclipse Talon Laser is like a fishbowl. Like
yeah, it's all glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
the first thing that's going to happen when the car gets to Arizona is the glass is getting tinted on the Eclipse. So I guess.
Oh yeah. I think it would look really good because it does have the black roof. I think it'd look even lower.
It's a new enough car that you can get away with window tint on it. Cars like my blue Colt and stuff, I won't be tinting when they get here.
I think you can tint it, but that's my opinion.
I just don't like the look of tint on an old car. it's a personal preference. I just don't like it. They do offer options now that are like a clear UV protection that's reflective of the sun and the heat itself, which I'll have no problem putting on an old car. I just don't like the look. I think tint on an old car doesn't work. I don't know if it's the chrome window moldings or just the look of the car. I don't like it. If I see a nice old car window tint, it bothers me.
See, I like it with a. I don't like a dark like a. I don't want like a limo tint. Limo tint doesn't look good, but like a. It's probably like 40 or 45%. Just a minor tint to it. I like.
Not doing it.
That's the way I like
Old cars had clear glass, so it's gonna stay that way.
All right. Any other project car updates?
No, because I'm back in Arizona and I haven't touched a car. Just been driving my Jetta.
All right. Well, before we get
boring old man.
Have you tinted the windows in that yet?
I haven't. It's just financial. I need to wait to have a couple extra bucks to do it.
That I would put limo tint in.
It's a couple $100, and I'll get it done when I get it done. But the car has really good AC, and it's fine. I'll get it done eventually. I just need that extra couple $100 to do it. It's just not in the budget right now.
All right. Before we get too deep into, we're going to do some Craig Don't Tell Me because we haven't done one in a while.
Been a while.
Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee, Sunday, August 18th at the Coffee Factory, Salem, New Hampshire. Check the Facebook event for details and updates. I think that's all I have for events coming up. Should check out the Gearhead Project and Crankshaft Culture. I have a little article or a little post about the junkyard we went to in Arizona. So,
yep, I did see that today. Actually, I do like how you give the advice, the sage advice, to wear long pants to the junkyard, and the picture of me clearly wearing shorts.
Yes,
is like the third picture.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of a last minute thing, but I'm glad we went anyways because it was super cool. Well, yeah, it was super cool and it was super hot.
Yeah, and I found another half a dozen or so we got to go check out next time you're out here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get to some Craig Don't Tell Me because we haven't done it in a while. Now,
absolutely.
I tried to find some on Facebook Marketplace, but it's just not as much of a treasure trove as Craigslist.
The problem with Facebook Marketplace is the descriptions are never long enough.
No.
It's always like car.
Yeah, they're never long enough and rambling enough and crazy enough.
Yeah.
So,
actually, a lot of the ones I found on Craigslist today aren't crazy either. I mean, they're good. They're just not crazy.
I think I have a couple that'll be a slam dunk for you. I'm going to start with the Facebook one, get it out of the way.
Sure.
And then we'll go every other. So I'll do one, then you do one for me. So this is for you. And I'm going to skip the first line because it says what it is. So we're going to say that this has a tan leather interior, wood steering wheel, nice car for the money, minor rust, not mined, but it's real nice.
Not mine, but it's nice?
Yeah. The car needs interior panels, minor body work, and tune-up. This sounds like it's getting worse. The interior is clean. It's a great car for those who like classic exotic cars. Clean title.
Classic exotic cars?
Yes.
Ooh. And it's tan leather interior?
Yep.
Is it Italian?
It is Italian.
I bet it's not really an exotic, though. Is it an Alpha Spider?
No.
Is it a rear-wheel drive car? Front engine rear-wheel drive?
I believe so. I'm not familiar enough with them to know.
That's not good. 4-cylinder engine?
Ooh, actually, I don't. No, I don't think so. No. What?
I don't think I have enough info here.
No.
What kind of engine would it have? Who's the body designed by?
Oh, I'd have to look it up. But you've got. I mean, you've got the right continent. So, I mean, there's not many Italian car manufacturers. So it's not an Alfa.
That would be a country.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. It could be a Fiat then.
It's not a Fiat. Just go
Well,
through all the Italian manufacturers.
there's not many non-exotic other ones. Um, there's, I mean, I wouldn't think it's a Ferrari on Facebook Marketplace.
Definitely not a Ferrari.
So if it's definitely not a Ferrari, it's also definitely not a Lamborghini.
It's definitely not. But the person who would buy this might think it's as cool as one of those.
Okay.
And the dealership network has not done well lately for these cars.
So it is an Alpha.
It's not an Alpha.
Or Maserati, excuse me.
Yes. There you
Okay.
go.
Is it a biturbo or a quadruport?
It's a bi-turbo convertible.
Oh, even better.
It's an 86 Maserati Spider convertible.
Ugh.
Yeah. Which I don't know.
Run
Actually,
away.
are they front-wheel drive or are they rear-wheel drive? I don't know.
They're rear-wheel drive. They're V6 rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. It looks like a toilet.
It is a toilet. I mean, they're not terrible looking cars.
Yeah.
They're just not great cars.
What was the fugly looking Ferrari from that era that was kind of like a weird 2+2 coupe? The Mondeo?
No, the Mondial was a convertible or a coupe. But I think you're thinking of the 400i.
Yeah, but they're still somehow better looking than this car.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the 400i.
I think the weird Ferraris are some of the best looking ones.
There's a Mondial, which is weird looking.
Yeah.
But I still think it's nice. But I really, really, really think that the 400i is a really neat car. What I don't like about it is most of them have a GM automatic transmission.
Yeah.
But if you can find one without that, then it's a good car.
What's funny is because it's a Ferrari Mondial. Is that how you say it?
Mondial is the mid-engine car.
So they're not very. They're kind of weird looking, right? So whenever you say Mondial, I just think of Walter Mondale because he's also like from the '80s.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, he's also kind of weird looking. So that's like in my brain, that's how it's associated. I don't know why, but that's just a weird thing.
That's a very weird thing. I'll pretend I didn't hear that, and the audience probably should too.
Yeah. All right, what do you got for me?
All right, I don't have anything really off of Facebook because I looked and everything just came up as just like I said, like car for sale, Mustang, buy it. So
Yeah.
I kind of skipped over on that one.
All right.
I do have a few interesting ones here. This one could be on a bring a trailer feature of see where they rust.
Oh.
Because I've never seen this generation of this car this rotted before.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Can I ask you what Craigslist this was on?
I went to Indiana this time.
Okay.
So this is from Indianapolis.
All right.
Blank, 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 blank. One owner, original title. 3-speed manual transmission with air conditioning. Small block blank V8. The car has been stored in an old barn for 30 years.
Oh, great.
The owner said he drove it in there, so it did not have any mechanical issues when he parked it, which is a long way of saying ran when parked.
Yeah.
The owner believes the car had approximately 100,000 miles on it.
Oh.
I also have the original owner's manual. Books the car came with window. Odd sentence structure there. The rear quarter panels are rusted through in spots and other places you can see in pictures. I looked underneath the car, and the frame does not appear to be rusted.
Psst.
There are other areas of the car that is rusted, so it will need a full restoration. It appears that all the emblems, hubcaps, and parts are with the car. The convertible top needs replaced as well.
Oh, okay.
The car is straight, never been wrecked, and would make for a great restoration project. If you have any other questions about the car, please let me know. Condition is listed as good. Not sure where they get their description of good as, but so this is a small block blank. I won't say the manufacturer, obviously.
It's good. Good for Indiana.
No, it's not even good for Indiana. This is a bad car. But anyway, it's a small block blank with a 3-speed manual and a
Okay.
convertible.
Okay. All right. For some reason, I'm getting the impression it's a Ford product.
I don't know how you got that, but you are correct. It is a Ford product. So the small block is a 302 two barrel.
So it's like a um not the what the hell was the is it the retractable hardtop car?
No, because the convertible top needs to be replaced.
Oh, okay.
And the
Is it like
retractable
a
hardtop car from the 50s wouldn't have had a 302. That would have been like
oh
a
right. So it was like a
small
is it like a
60 or something.
Fairlane convertible?
It is not a Fairlane, although this engine and transmission combo certainly would have come in a Fairlane. So you're on the right track.
So it would have been like a
So it's a convertible is not a Fairlane.
yeah, shoot. What was the Mustang based on? Falcon. It's a Falcon convertible?
It is not a Falcon convertible.
Ooh.
And the Falcon wouldn't have had a 302 in the eras that came with the convertible. That would have been a 260, I'm pretty sure. But don't quote me on that.
So is this a Mustang convertible?
It is a Mustang convertible.
Whoa.
I've never seen in my entire life a 3-speed manual V8 with a C car before.
Yeah.
Convertible. This is a 73. I'm actually going to send you the link just so you can see how rusted the car is.
How far up the quarter panels? Like
to the top of the wheel.
whoa.
And the front fenders are rusted from the hood, like in the middle of the fender, and then the front of the fender and the back of the fender are not connected.
So this barn had like holes in it. Like
this barn was probably on the bottom of a boat.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's one of the worst cars I've ever seen on Craigslist.
All right.
But it could be yours for the reduced price. I'd like to know where it started at of $2,700.
I feel like you can get a good roller Mustang for slightly more than that, right?
For a 73 Mustang convertible,
Oh, it's a 73.
you could buy a nice solid Southern California car for $3,500.
Oh, it's not even an early car.
No, this is a parts car.
Weird.
This is a maybe, depending on what parts you need, maybe $1,000 parts car. More than likely a $500 parts car. More than likely he'll own it forever. It'll wind up being junked and salvage valued because it's just not a nice car.
All right.
And I'm not one for junking cars, but I sent you the link just so you can see the quarter panel picture on the passenger side and the fender on the driver's side.
I'll look at it later. I don't want to mess up our call here.
Pretty amazing.
All right. I got one for you.
I'm impressed you got that though. That's pretty good.
I don't know where I got it. I just got the feeling. I was like,
You went forward right away, and I was like, wow, that was quick.
I'm feeling it. I was feeling it. I was like, Indiana, it's American car. I don't know, Ford. The 3-speed, I don't know, somewhere it just put me there.
Yep.
All right.
But I didn't put you in a Mustang. That's a weird combination for a Mustang.
All right, here. I got to read you the title because this is great. Topless time with 6 exclamation points.
Okay. It's an MGB.
One owner, since new, brand new battery, so much fun, just over 100K, runs and drives, looks awesome, minor scrape on driver's side, rear, hurry, going fast, first with cash, takes this beauty, clear title, ready to go on the beach, all power options, GT Turbo.
GT Turbo convertible?
Yep.
GT Turbo. It's a PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I couldn't think of a GT Turbo, and then that description is something only a PT Cruiser owner could have come up with.
I thought this might be a slam dunk for you, but it was such a fun ad.
That one was pretty easy. My initial thought was going to be Jeep until you got GT Turbo. So
2007 PT Cruiser convertible in black.
I believe it's a GT Cruiser. It's a different car.
However, $1,500. I mean,
yeah. What price dignity, Andrew? Price dignity.
It's a neon with a roll bar and a weird body.
You know what I'd rather have? An actual neon with a roll bar.
Yeah.
That would be a lot better. All right, my turn. What do we got here? So still Indianapolis.
All right.
So this is a blank year, blank manufacturer, blank model. And then for some reason, there's a number 3 at the end of the description.
Okay.
I don't know if there's 3 cars. Or it looks like there might be 3 cars, but this ad is for one in particular, I think, because there's 3 of them in the pictures. All right, this has a inline 6 and automatic transmission.
Mm.
Have a 4-speed also included. If you buy the parts car, which is $500.
Okay.
Car was purchased at a yard sale.
Ooh.
And now we're selling it because we're moving our shop to a new location and don't have the room to keep it. Complete driveline and interior. Body is solid, but needs new floors and frame rails.
Okay.
So the body is not solid.
Okay.
New floors and frame rails replaced, and roof dents fixed or roof replaced.
Oh, all right.
Again, this is not a solid car.
Yeah.
Missing all lights and miscellaneous other things, which previous owner still has in storage, we were told, if you'd like to buy those from them.
Sure.
Hood needs an alignment. That seems like a minor concern based on everything else. Interior seems complete. Was told engine was rebuilt, but we have not tried to start it since the previous owner also lost the keys when it was being disassembled and prepped for paint a few years ago, before letting the car sit for so long that they also lost the title, but will give you their contact number so you can straighten it out with them.
Oh man, this is like the
Great
perfect
starter.
project car, right?
Great, hold on. Welcome to the next line, my friend. Great starter for a decent project car. Tried to list the basics so you can see the rest from the pics.
This is
located in Indianapolis, Indiana. First person with the money gets the car.
yeah, that's how it works.
Just like your PT Cruiser ad.
Yeah.
First to come with cash gets the car. Yeah, thanks.
Oh man, like
So, this is a inline 6. It is fuel injected.
Oh.
Which I will give you a clue means it's a late model version of said car. 4-speed included, but automatic in the car now.
See, originally I was going with British because the inline 6.
Right.
But now I gotta go. It's gotta be German.
It is not German.
Okay.
It's not British, but it still could be a fuel injected inline 6 if it was like a late model TR7.
All right, so then it's gonna be like a Supra.
You're along the right lines. You're in the right country.
Is it a Cressida?
You're in the right country still.
What? Who else had an inline 6?
Every other manufacturer in Japan at some point.
Oh. So this would be a very, very late, like a 280Z?
It is a 280Z, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. The description is Datsun 280Z, Nissan JDM 240Z, 260Z, 280ZX, 300ZX, 350Z, 3.
See, this is the type of car that, like, the friend you casually know is like, I just bought this car, I'm going to restore it. And he shows it to you, and you're like, what did you do? Like, why didn't you tell me? Like,
well, this particular car, all of the wonderful stuff I described to you,
yeah.
No keys, no title, no parts, but information to the previous owner if you would like it, could be yours for the low sum of $1,500.
Ooh, I might gamble with that, but not really.
100% not.
Yeah, I've been spoiled by
this is a rotted car with no floors and frame.
Yeah, I got hooked with the Montero from Arizona, and then when my mom's car showed up and we were underneath it, and it's like mint. And like all we did was clean it and do a couple things, and she's been driving it like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really nice buying not rusty vehicles. And the same thing with the Eclipse, right?
Yeah, 100%. So this is the same thing. I won't even go over this one. I just happened to, when I was looking, I found another one.
Yeah.
It's the same car. It's a little earlier. It's a 71 240. So it's a more rare car.
Yeah, that's a more desirable car.
So solid restoration candidate. Restored cars bring 20 to 30K.
That's right.
The engine has compression. Just needs floors. And I'm looking at it, and it just needs quarter panels, and it just needs a hood, and just needs floors, and just needs taillights, and just needs fenders, and just needs a full interior. So yeah, and that car is like $3,000.
Oh man, it's rusty gold, man.
It's and it's red cheap repaint with an old yellow car.
Oh, that's a bummer because that yellow's pretty cool in those cars.
Yeah, it was very cool in those cars, but it would be very easy to go back to yellow because it was never jammed. So
Yeah, and it would have to be a rotisserie restoration, anyways.
yeah, so yeah, it's kind of neon yellow. But anyway, that's the Datsun market in Indianapolis. It's,
All right,
it's not good.
all right.
I got a couple more. So if you had a couple more,
I just have two more. I think this one's gonna be. I think the next two. I think you'll get them pretty quick. I'm just gonna read the price of this one because the price is really interesting. Like it's kind of a weird number. So 78.50 or best in parens realistic offer.
Hmm.
Text with questions or to arrange blank. Pros, clean interior, new Chevy steering wheel, no rot, clean title in hand, and a bunch of paperwork. 305 engine, new Edelbrock intake, new MST distributor cap, new Excel, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of new parts. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want to give it away too quickly.
Well, that MSD distributor cap, man, that's a selling point in itself.
Yep.
And a Chevy steering wheel. Does it mean it's a Chevy?
It is a Chevy.
Okay.
It's got 305.
Yep. So it's going to be either a B body, a G body, or an F body.
Yep, you're in the ballpark.
I'm going to go with an mid 80s Monte Carlo.
Ooh, very, very close.
Not a Monte Carlo?
Not a Monte Carlo. Shares a lot with the Monte Carlo.
Shares with the Monte Carlo, and it's a Chevy?
Yep.
Parts with the Monte Carlo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's an El Camino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
85 Chevy El Camino Conquistador.
Oh, Conquistador. I like that. I need a Conquistador to park next to my Conquest.
I knew you'd like it because I didn't want to get too newer bedliner because then that would give it away.
No, let's look at my Silverado, I guess.
I just thought that was an interesting price, $78.50.
That is a very interesting price.
Not $7,500, not $8,000.
One of the ones I was going to do for you was $2,650.
Yeah.
So, and that price is not negotiable.
Well, if you give this person a realistic offer.
Yeah.
What's realistic? Actually, it looked like a pretty nice car. So, I don't know what the market is on El Caminos, but anything over
$10,000 will get you $10,000 will buy you a solid car.
Anything over
here they're like $3.
Anything over $100 for me for an El Camino would be too much. So,
well, I just want to buy another one so you can drive around in it.
All right, what's your next one you got for me?
All right, for sale, blank model, blank manufacturer, 4-door, $11,900. We are still in Indiana. This is a wonderful condition, a blank year, blank model 4-door sedan, finished in maroon with orange pinstripe. The color combination is correct for this model year.
Huh.
These 4-door sedans are very rare, and the interior on this car is excellent, with the underside being amazingly clean. All four doors close nice and tight as they should. The engine number is 134-76996, and it's original to the car. Too many projects going on right now, so that is why I'm selling this car. Please feel free to contact me with any questions. Text OK2. Thank you.
All right, so it's purple with orange pinstripe.
Maroon.
Maroon with orange pinstripe.
Yes, it's actually very close to the Durban maroon on the Conquest.
Oh. It's a Chrysler product.
Is not.
Ooh.
It is not. It is not. It is not actual Durban maroon, and it's definitely not from the 80s. I'll tell you that.
Okay, is it
American?
Is it American?
It is American.
Okay.
It has 21-inch wheels.
Okay. But it's not from the 80s.
It's definitely not from the 80s.
All right. Is it a donked Monte Carlo?
It is not a donked Monte Carlo.
Okay. It's 26-inch wheels.
21-inch wheels.
21-inch wheels.
Yeah, leaf springs all around.
Oh. Is it some sort of Jeep?
It is not a Jeep.
Would it be like is it an SUV?
I
Is it a pickup truck?
mean, it is not a pickup truck or an SUV.
Okay.
If this car was marketed today, it would have the similar shape to an SUV.
Is it an Eagle wagon?
No,
Hmm.
I like where you're going with that because that makes sense.
Is it a Wagoneer?
It is a full frame vehicle.
Is it like a Jeep Wagoneer?
It is not a Jeep. Remember, we established that a while
Oh,
ago.
okay. Well, when I sent Jeep, I meant like a Wrangler or whatever, a CJ, whatever the hell it is.
Yep.
Weird.
It has one gauge.
Hmm.
And it has curtains.
Leaf springs all around, one gauge.
And curtains.
So it's some sort of van.
Yeah, again, it's not called that at the time.
Would it be a wagon?
It's marketed as a sedan. But if I were to give it a name now, I would call it a wagon.
Okay, so would it be like, wasn't there like a big international like wagon sedan thing?
It has elements made of wood.
Okay, so it's some sort of, you said it wasn't a Chrysler product.
No.
So it was like a
And
Ford wooden wagon?
It's not a wooden wagon. It has elements made of wood, but not on the exposed part of the body.
What? They're from the 30s?
Not from the 30s, no.
From the 50s?
Not from the 50s.
From the 60s?
You're going the wrong way.
Really? It's from the 20s?
It is straight in the mid-20s, yes.
Whoa, okay. So it was like a...
That's why it has 21-inch wheels.
Oh.
See, I threw you off.
Okay. So is it like a big old Packard something?
No, it's simpler than that.
Hmm.
It's a 4-cylinder.
Oh, is it like a Model T like delivery wagon or something?
It's a Model T.
Yeah.
It's a Model T sedan.
Model T sedan.
The sedan at the time, though, was almost like a wagon-style body. It didn't have a trunk. It went all the way to the back.
Right.
They didn't call it a wagon because they just called that a sedan because they had 4 doors.
Oh.
So it's a 26 Model T sedan. It's a really neat car, and for 11 grand, I would definitely drive it.
I mean, we talked about this before. Like, cars from the 20s are just going to keep going down.
Yeah, and this car is immaculate.
Hmm.
Like, it's a really nice car. And when I say elements of the car are made of wood, I was specifically referring to like the ash inside the body panels and the spokes on the wheels. So I didn't want to say it had wooden wheels like too early on because that would have been like, oh my god, what are we talking about? Is it a soapbox derby car from the 30s?
Oh man, I can't wait till we get to the Roaring 20s themed car shows. Everybody shows up in flapper outfits and dressed like gangsters.
I mean, I would totally go to that. I mean, 100% I would go to that. Call it Prohibition Wood.
Prohibition Wood.
And I'm in.
Mark it. That's ours.
All right. Well, we need to buy this car then because the car is really nice.
Oh, man.
I really want it. We just got one more?
Yeah, I got one more.
I feel that one's almost too obscure.
That was very obscure for me. I don't know anything from the 20s. I mean, I know what a Model T is, but
yeah.
I didn't realize they had wood in them. I thought they were all metal.
No, they have like an ash inside the... So, funny off-topic story.
Yeah.
Funny, but when I worked for the insurance company many years ago, this guy was not insured with us, but he was rear-ended by one of our customers.
Right.
He stopped in his Model T to let somebody cross the street, and a lady in a Corolla rear-ended him. Now,
yeah, because the taillights in a Model T are about an inch tall.
There's 2 issues here.
Yeah.
One, there's no way a Corolla couldn't stop as fast as a Model T.
Exactly.
2, if you're driving in traffic behind a Model T, you're going to notice it's there, and you're going to pay attention to it a little bit more, I would think.
I would hope so.
Because it's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy got rear-ended by a Corolla. She was texting or whatever.
It's driving a 20s car around. It's rare. Like, I saw one not too long ago at Cruise Night. It's super rare to see them now, people driving them, because they just don't keep up with modern traffic. But it's the equivalent of driving literally a motorized horse carriage. Like,
Yeah.
not exaggerating. Like that.
That's what they were.
Exactly. So, like, when you
Um,
see one, you're like, that's really weird. Like, I haven't seen one in a long time.
But anyway, so this car came in for an appraisal, and I can write an appraisal on any car. I mean, they're all pretty much standard, 2 or 3 different ways they're built. There's not a lot of variations on things. But this guy came in with an estimate from a carpenter as well as from the body shop.
That's
And
awesome.
I didn't really know what to do with it. So we just kind of took his carpenter estimate and we're like, we don't really know how to prove if this is a good rate or not because we don't have any carpenters that we use.
Yeah. Weird.
So there was a Model A restoration shop, which is actually located in Tewksbury, that sells a lot of the wood
Huh.
still to this day.
Hmm.
And then the carpenter would assemble everything and the body laid back down on top of it.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
It was really neat. And it was quite a learning experience on that one, learning how it's all put together. And we had to replace one of the wheels too because one of the spokes was splintered.
Huh.
So, yeah, because that car gets hit from behind by a Corolla. Obviously, the Corolla dives under the bumper and hits that tire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a 21 by 3 wheel.
Yeah. Weird.
So, yeah, it was very strange.
Go to the wheelwright to make one.
Yeah, the barrel maker to get it trued. No, but it was interesting. We wound up getting it fixed. It cost probably. It was a really nice car. It was a 2-door, rumble street, like the top of the line car, and it was a $35,000 car. So we wound up getting fixed, but it was definitely an interesting day at the drive-in claim center. Yeah.
All right. Last one from me. This might be a slam dunk for you, but we'll see. Purchased in 1992 from second owner. White exterior, black cloth interior, hatch wiper, no sunroof, 5-speed. Option codes. There are a bunch of numbers. Autocross for 1 season, otherwise not tracked. Been sitting outside, sometimes covered, since 2007. Parked when it wouldn't start. Probably just a bad DME. That's going to give it away right there.
Yeah, it's a Porsche.
It is, but what kind?
It's just a 911.
Nope.
912.
Nope.
But
Here you go. Water pump last replaced at 60K.
so it's a 928.
924S.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah. And you know how much it is? This is locally. This is in Metro West. Where the hell is this? Newton. $800. 87 Porsche 924S. Sold as parts. $800 complete car.
Does it have a title?
I don't know.
That's really
Oh, clear title. Should have clean Carfax. Yeah, $800.
We should buy that. I mean, I'm half kidding, but I'm not really. We should split that, and that's a good car. So the 924S is a 944
Yeah.
in a 924 body. So it's kind of like the hot rod. It's like taking the earliest, narrowest, lightest body
Yeah.
and putting the later, better, more powerful.
I mean, it's ugly. It's got a wrecked header panel. It's got cancer spots.
Oh, I don't want it anymore then.
Not like rotted spots, but like where
I actually don't want it anyway.
Where the paint's broken. It's got patina, rusty patina.
We'll just find one here in Arizona.
I know, right? That's the thing.
But we should buy that one for the nice interior.
I sent you the link. It's
to
like
put in the Arizona car.
tough to tell. All right, what do you got for me? We're getting long on time here.
That's good because our last one was really short.
All
right. So, this is a car that I would actually purchase myself.
Okay.
Save for the transmission.
All right, it's a Dodge Colt. You saw
not a
automatic Dodge Colt.
Not an automatic Dodge Colt. It's not a car that I currently own or have ever owned. Blank. Ontario Orange, $14,500. Ontario Orange with a saddle interior. Numbers matching original car, has been in long-term storage. Driven less than 3,000 miles since 1999. V8 automatic power steering, 154,000 miles. Good running and driving old blank. Paint has a nice shine, but is old and has several scratches and imperfections. It's an original paint car. Interior is complete, but does show wear. The bolsters are a little worn. Even with worn paint and interior, the car has a cool original patina and look to it. Headlights work. Wiper door does not work.
Wiper door.
All gauges work but the tach. Starts easy, runs cool. Removable back glass. Comes with Protecto plate and original owner's manual. Complete running and driving blank that you can either restore or just drive and enjoy as is. Video available upon request. $14,500.
Is it like a vintage Blazer?
It is not a Blazer. You're already in the right manufacturer, though.
Removable rear glass. Like a late C3 Corvette?
So it is a C3 Corvette.
Yeah.
But as a 71.
Oh, so it's an early car.
An early C3 Corvette in orange, full chrome bumpers.
Ooh.
T-tops. Yeah,
Yeah.
T-tops, removable rear glass. It's got the like trunk lid rack
Oh, yeah.
on the back, rally wheels. It's that cool orange. Like, if this car was 4-speed swapped, I would drive it in a second. And at $14,500, you're not going to find a better early Corvette.
It sounds like the one that's down by the Willows near Salem here. That's like sitting in a driveway on 4 flats.
I don't think I've seen that one.
We noticed it like a while ago. We kind of talked about it. We were driving down there to get Chinese food, but that's a wicked local story. It's like, I actually saw it today because I was down towards there. It's like sitting in a driveway. It's got like at least 2 flats. It's got dual round pop-ups. They're up, and then small chrome bumpers, and it's kind of that burnt orange color.
I was just saying the link, you can click on it, you can see. But it's the burnt orange color with the tan interior. It's a really nice car, and if the car was a 5-speed, or 4-speed, I should say, I would 100% drive that car. It's got a really neat, all-original look to it.
Yeah, this is what that one looks like. But
And at $14,500, I mean, that seems to me to be a solid deal for that car.
I think chrome bumper C3s are great looking.
I love them. I don't like them after 74 or whatever they went to the weird bumpers, but the 68 through 72s or whatever, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, they're really good looking with those thin chrome bumpers.
And that wiper door that they referred to, that would have been the dead giveaway if you were more familiar with Corvettes. When you turn the wipers on,
yeah, it's vacuum actuated, right?
the vacuum door that lifts behind the hood that
yeah.
the wipers come out of.
Once you talk about it, I know what it is. I just forgot about it.
Yep. But no, this car here, I would say it's almost equivalent condition to like my Camaro.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit shinier.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking.
But yeah, it's a really cool looking car, and with a manual transmission, that'd be the car. I've never been a C3 guy other than early ones, and that's definitely a car for me.
Cool.
Anyway, that's the last one.
All right, anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, you can find us Auto Off Topic Podcast on Facebook, Auto Off Topic on Instagram. You can see some pictures of Brad's bodywork. I've got a goofy picture of me doing shocks. You can follow me on Instagram, Race and Anger. Brad, where can they find you?
TSISS350.
Cool. All right. Thanks for listening, and as always, keep cars analog.